Good morning. I'm Mrs. Winger, and I am so excited to be here today, not as a teacher at Hawks Rise, but doing one of my very favorite things, and that's reading aloud to kids. This is our Read for the Record Day, so I was delighted when Mrs. Tamplin asked me to come and read a story that's brand new to me. We'll find out about that in just a minute. But as we read this story, there are two ideas I want you to keep in the back of your mind. One has to do with the word obsolete. I want you to think about what that might mean through the story and how being obsolete isn't always a bad thing. I also want you to think about loyalty and how loyalty shows its wonderful self in this story called Otis by Loren Long. Sit back, relax, we're ready for a great read. There was once a friendly little tractor. His name was Otis, and every day Otis and his farmer worked together, taking care of the farm they called home. Otis liked to work. But after working hard all day, Otis was ready to unwind and play. He would ride the rolling hills and skirt Mud Pond down by the corn. He would leapfrog over the bales of hay and explode through the haystacks. On occasion, he would chase a rabbit or play Ring Around the Rosie with the ducks to the sound of his steady puff, puff, puffity-chuck. And sometimes, at the end of the day, he would just sit under the apple tree and watch the farm below. Every night, tired but happy, Otis would puff, puff, right into the little stall in the barn that was all his. One night, when Otis was fast asleep, the farmer brought a beautiful baby calf into the barn. That calf bawled and bawled for her mother. But when that sleepy sound of the soft puff, puff, puffity-chuck came from the next stall, the scared little calf stopped bawling and drifted off to sleep. From that day on, the calf started following that little tractor wherever he went. Puff, puff, puffity-chuck. She followed him over the rolling hills and down by Mud Pond. She was right behind him, leaping over the bales of hay. And the calf made their games of Ring Around the Rosie all the better. Sometimes, at the end of the day, the two of them would just sit together under the apple tree and watch the farm below. Otis loved his little calf, and this little calf loved Otis. Then one day, the farmer surprised everyone with a brand new yellow tractor. "Time to move out, Otis," the farmer said. He took Otis out of that little stall in the barn that was all his and put him behind the barn. Then he backed that big yellow trailer right into the stall next to the little calf. Oh, poor Otis. But the little calf didn't like that big yellow trailer. He had a deep, rumbling snore that shook the walls when he slept. There was no one to purr the little calf gently to sleep. No one to spend her days with. And Otis could not even see the farm as the weeds began to cover his tires. His friend often sat with him, but she could not get him to play like the old days. It was early summer when the farmer discovered a poster. "Who has the prettiest calf in all the land? Judges will decide at the county fair and award a fancy blue ribbon to the winner." The farmer knew the answer. I bet you do too. He would show the little calf. But on the morning of the fair, the little calf was nowhere to be found. She had wandered down by Mud Pond right by that cornfield to cool off. When she waded into the deep, muddy water, her feet sank. With every step, she sunk deeper and deeper and deeper. Oh no, the little calf was stuck in Mud Pond. Now we have a real dilemma. "Get the hands," the farmer shouted when he saw her. All the farm hands came running with their ropes, but the more they tugged, the more stuck got the calf. "Get the big yellow tractor," the farmer shouted. "He can save her." But that big tractor just scared the little calf. She sank in deeper and deeper. Nearby, the farmers began to gather. "Well, then call the fire department. Call the fire truck," the farmer shouted. "They can save our little calf." But the sight of that big red fire truck startled the little calf in even deeper. The farmer was fit to be tied. If the farm hands and the big tractor and even the fire chief Douglas and the fire truck couldn't save the little calf, who could? Do you have some ideas? Let's see. Suddenly, the little calf's ears perked up. Over the hum of the growing crowd, there came a faint sound in the distance, a soft, rhythmic purr, pop, puttity, chuff. The crowd turned and looked. The sound became louder, puff, puff, puttity, chuff. And all at once, you know who came out. Sure it was. Otis puffed right out from around the barn. He turned and he headed straight toward Mud Pond. Now, I wonder how that old tractor can help. Well, Otis puffed down the rolling hill and pulled right up next to the muddy water's edge. The calf heard her friend's puttery putt and bawled. This time it sounded something like hello. Then, to the sound of his gentle chuff, and to the amazement of the people in the crowd, Otis slowly began to circle the pond. Now, I wonder how that would help, just circling the pond. Well, he circled, and the little calf turned and turned, never taking her eyes off of her friend. With each ring Otis made around Mud Pond, the muddy grip loosened until the calf was able to stumble out of the pond on her own. The two friends had found each other again. Otis led the calf right down the dusty road toward the village, and everyone threw flowers as they went, following them into town. It looked like a happy parade. No one needed a fancy blue ribbon to tell them that this was a special calf, that Otis was a special tractor, and the two of them were very special friends. From that day on, the farmer discovered that with Otis's puttering purr beside the chicken coop, the chickens laid more eggs. At milking time, with Otis's gentle chuff nearby, his cows produced more milk. And on occasion, Otis even got to join the farmer and the big yellow tractor out in the fields. But often, at the end of the day, Otis would just sit with his friend under the apple tree and watch the farm below. And that's the story of Otis. Now think back. Think about how something obsolete still served a purpose. And how did loyalty between friends help save the day? Give it a chance, read for the record, and go for Otis by Loren Long. Thanks for having me today, and have a great day.